Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. This interview is sponsored by the Hula Bowl. Today I have with me James Esther. He's defensive lineman out of Northern Illinois, one of these stars out of the MAC. Nice to have you on, sir.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Obviously, there at NIU, been a fixture there for quite some time. Team captain, finished the season strong, got your team bowl eligible. But I guess for people that don't know you, man, that's kind of really the purpose of this interview, so we can meet you and allow people to see who this guy is, who really is underrated and needs to be considered on some draft boards, man. James, go ahead and start us out, man. Tell us where you're from and get us started.
I'm from Detroit, Michigan, youngest of four. I had two older sisters and an older brother. I started playing football when I was seven. Really, my dad got me into it. I wasn't really, honestly, I was kind of like the guy who didn't really want to get tackled. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. So it was kind of like, I kind of bounced around. I played soccer, I played basketball, but football was really my thing. Been playing for a really long time. In high school, played at Cass Tech. We're a pretty good program, pretty nationally known. But I really didn't even start there until I was a senior. So my story kind of fluctuates. I came in ninth grade thinking I was a running back. I was only about 5'10", maybe 5'11", and like 170 pounds. So I thought I was running back. Ended up moving to defensive end when I was a sophomore, and then by the end of everything, my senior year started as a defensive end. Had a pretty decent season, but I wasn't really the most recruited guy. And honestly, I tell people this a lot. Like after my junior year, I didn't start. I played a decent amount, but I was playing behind Andre Carter, who's at Indiana now, if you're familiar. My thing, and I kind of even told my parents, like, if I'm not getting recruited, I'm probably done after my junior year. Ended up picking up an offer from Memphis, like in that off season. So that kind of got things stirred back up for me. And then went through a senior year, wasn't being recruited a whole lot. And then Coach Hammock and Coach G ended up coming to get me like right before second signing day. That's how I ended up at NIU. So,
Well, maybe a late bloomer, so to speak, when you think
for
about
sure.
you as a player, because I mean, you talk about you as a freshman being not so big of a guy, but
Yeah, not
certainly
really.
lately you're a big hulking defensive lineman these days
Yeah,
in like the 290 something range.
yeah.
Playing all along that defensive line there for NIU. Obviously, man, you had mentioned that you went to Cass Tech there in Michigan, a very well-renowned school that
Yeah.
has a lot of great talent that comes through there.
hmm
Um, what's like? Give me one of your memories from back in the day, man. Like obviously playing it with some great talent, but and also having some great games. Give me like one quick memory.
Uh, One that comes to my head immediately. When I was in 10th grade, uh, Donovan Peoples Jones, I was still on our team at this time. So we were playing in our semifinal game for the state championship, and the clock was ticking down. And I just remember him catching like one of the craziest passes in the end zone to end the game that I'd ever seen against Eisenhower. So that's one that comes to mind. Obviously, ended up winning state championship that year, so it's pretty cool.
Cool. And again, walk me through this journey one more time, man. And because the thing is like like you said, I mean, you're in high school, you were uh I guess maybe you had a late growth spurt, like I don't know. But I mean, you have basically really morphed into this guy, of your size and caliber. How does that happen? I mean, did that just happen overnight? Was that just like eating a bunch of your folks' food, or how'd that work?
I mean, really, I come from a pretty big family, so my brother's pretty big, and my mom's tall, about almost 6 feet. She's about 5'10". So I mean, like the height is in the genes, and my brother's pretty big. So I mean, it was always coming. I personally wasn't one who was looking forward to that because I really thought I was like, you think you're a running back, you want the ball in your hands. You don't want to be 6'3", 300 pounds. Like that's not what I was looking for. But it was always coming. And I really just a lot of hard work, a lot of working out 2 times a day, like working out before I get to our summer workouts when I was in high school, just things like that. So just really just a lot of work and honestly just genetics.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. You got to take what you can get. So, and you said the recruiting process was a little slow.
Yeah.
Again, you had first said like Memphis was in play, but then eventually,
Hmm.
you obviously ended up signing with NIU.
Yeah.
Uh, let's go ahead and talk about that school, man, Northern Illinois. So, um, what makes that place so special for you?
I mean, for me, it was really just about, and initially it started with just someone being able to give me a chance, really, because obviously you wait till second signing day, and that's in February. So a lot of schools already kind of have their guys. Yeah, I think that the connection with like Coach Hammock, Coach Geely, it was so genuine from the jump, and I've always appreciated them for that. And really for Coach G, my D line coach, it kind of feels like we kind of grew together because Northern Illinois, his first FBS job as a position coach. So I mean, he's been able to develop me in a way that I really wasn't sure if I could be developed. Obviously, you come to college, you don't really know everybody's the best coming from where they come from. So it was kind of just an interesting bond and relationship we've been able to build just over these past 5 seasons now. It feels crazy to even say 5 seasons, but yeah, just it's always been genuine. It's a family feel. Coach Hammock has love for everybody on this team, and he has love for this program. And I think that's something that not a lot of coaches can say. A lot of the time, you see coaches in the MAC, and they kind of want to use this opportunity to like leapfrog and go other places. But Coach Hammock played here. He loves the program, and I'm sure you'll see him here for a long time.
Well, cool. I mean, let's get to talking a little bit more about NIU and your team there, and really what you guys have been able to do. So, um, obviously, you come in as a freshman, and I don't know, man, were you played right away? Like, were you playing defensive end, or were you? Tell me a little bit about the history of you and like maybe like your experience across the defensive line.
Yeah. So when I first came in, I probably showed up to campus around like 255, 260, but Coach G kind of he saw that I had the room to grow, so I was pulled into that D tackle room pretty immediately. But I did end up playing a little bit my freshman year. I played against my first game I ever played was against Nebraska, and I was only about like 265 by then, but I was playing inside like a 2I, and I played pretty well. I had TFL first game ever playing, so that was pretty cool. I played against Nebraska, played against Vanderbilt, and then finished up the season against Eastern and Western, but still was able to retain my red shirt. So
Well,
that was
cool.
pretty cool.
So how do you see yourself projecting to the next level? I mean, do you feel that you are a guy that can maybe play? I mean, obviously now with you being the size that you are, like, do you feel like you can play multiple positions, or what do you think is maybe perhaps your niche as a prospect?
Honestly, I think I can really play wherever. If you go back and watch like the Nebraska tape, I played a lot of defensive end against them and had some pretty big plays that I was able to make that game. But I really enjoy playing the three technique more than anything. I'll definitely admit that. But I think that this year, honestly, has shown how much versatility that I have. In the past, I played a lot of like 2I, three tech, but really I've been able to branch out and play everything. And I think that I also on the next level, I show that I'm smart enough to even play all those positions and understand the techniques that you're supposed to play with. So just
Yeah,
honestly, I fit in wherever, I think.
yeah, and the other thing that I mean, obviously, I had started out with, obviously saying that you've been a team captain for quite some time, so obviously, you're used to that leadership role, man. How does it feel to have that role? Like, tell me a little bit about what that means to you.
I mean, it's huge, honestly, for me. When I came in, I was one of Coach Hammock's first recruits as a head coach. So when I came in, I was about 17 years old coming into the program. I was a little bit younger than everybody else, but Coach Hammock kind of saw from the beginning that I was a leader. I was a captain on my high school team, so it was interesting because initially I wasn't super confident in myself leading. I like I kind of told you before, I'm not the biggest talker. I'm not always just the loudest guy in the room for sure. So it was interesting, but over these past few years, just understanding that I've garnered respect from my teammates is huge, and being able to impact so many guys. And obviously, once you get along to the end of your journey as a collegiate player and understand the impact that you've had on younger guys and even older guys, honestly, with your leadership, like it really feels good. And it lets me know that I've left a lasting legacy. So I can
Oh,
appreciate that.
cool. So who are the people that have impacted you, man? Like whether it be like a player, I mean, are there guys that you model yourself after? Like, are there guys that have helped pave the way for you? I mean, can you, I guess, let me in on that a little bit?
For me, big role model for me has always been my dad, honestly. Um, just coming from Detroit, he grew up in Detroit as well, and the circumstances that he came from were not great. And he's been able to provide for obviously 4 children who are now college graduates and have moved on to higher professions. And really, even just his perseverance throughout his life has always been huge. He played football himself, and sadly, at the end of his career, he was temporarily paralyzed in his last game, so he wasn't able to continue. He's all right now. He's no longer facing any issues from that. But for me, just being able to achieve kind of what he dreamed of has always been huge for me. I think that's something that continues to push me every day. So
James, I think I read somewhere that your dad is a pastor, right? So,
yes, sir.
how does it feel being a? I mean, I gotta ask real quick because I mean everybody's situation is a little different, but how does it feel being a pastor's kid?
I mean, obviously grew up in the church a lot. My dad, he's not like I don't think that it's kind of like what people expect because my dad grew up kind of like similar to how we grew up. So it's not like he's just always on top of you or like everything is a Bible. Like he understands that I may not do everything the exact way that he does it, but I think at the end of the day, there's always love, no matter what we do as his kids.
Hey man, I gotta ask the question because I mean, I think it's interesting. I've heard of people on both ends of the spectrum and anywhere in between. You know what I mean? Sometimes
Hmm.
PTs get bad reps, man. So that's just PKs get bad rap. So
Yeah,
that's just kind of how it is. But hey, let's
yeah.
move on, man. So obviously, man, you guys finished strong. You guys became bowl eligible. Talk about the ups and downs of this season, and maybe perhaps like some of the best memories you've had so far.
uh, Obviously started out season strong with a big win over Boston College, what we call like a boneyard victory out here when we go out and beat Power Five opponents. So started out strong. Um, Defensively, I think we've really been consistent throughout the whole year, just kind of pushing ourselves. We had a couple bumps in the road, but kind of got our stride back offensively against Toledo, and it was kind of interesting because you see both sides of the spectrum because like the defense can be so good consistently, and then just when we got our swing back on offense, our defense wasn't great that game. So it's kind of like you find yourself plugging holes and you keep plugging holes, but at the end of the day, you have to play complete football. And I think through our last 7 games, we won our last five, or 5 out of the last 7. So we found ourselves playing more complete football. Defense going out there being shut down, offense going out there putting points, special teams executing. So I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to be successful if you don't come out there and play clean football and play together. But as far as like memories, really a huge one now for me is even that Kent State game, just finishing it off and becoming bowl eligible. Understanding that my last season here is not over yet. So
Yeah, we got one more game. It hasn't been determined yet who that last opponent's going to be, but hopefully you guys finish strong. I mean, obviously you were talking a little bit about having that balance there at NIU. So you had now a healthy Rocky Lombardi, which is really nice.
mm,
And so you are able to go out there and really do well on both sides of the ball. But I do got to ask you, man, who are some of the guys coming up in that program that people need to know?
one name, huge name in those, Ontario Brown, just named first team All MAC today. 1,000 yard rusher. That's one of my guys, and I think next year he'll probably be sitting here doing an interview with you, just like I am, honestly. Then also defense side of the ball, Nate Valcarcel, one of our safeties had 3 interceptions, fumble return for a touchdown. A guy who personally I feel like was kind of snubbed this year as far as all conference honors, and then also Javon Bird, one of our cornerbacks. another All MAC guy, second team, who played a great season.
Well, I mean, you should know a lot of them things are political, and
Yeah,
so
probably
it is what it is, man. So you gotta have to run with it. I mean, um, you've definitely earned the respect of your teammates and also your competition. Along the way, like you said, I mean, having great opportunities against Power Five opponents,
Oh,
man. Let's be
I'm sorry.
real. I mean,
Cut.
playing well against Boston College and all that,
I'm sorry.
really
It's kind of
helped.
having
So.
some difficulties.
All right, James. Well, I mean, obviously, a lot of players that you talked about that we need to look at in the future. So certainly some
Mhm.
players to look forward to. I do want to take a moment just to kind of meet you a little bit more outside of football. So, I mean, is there anything about you that people should know? I mean, whether it be your hobbies, interests, passions, things you got going on in your life, anything you want to add, man. I want to just give you the microphone.
I mean, I think a lot of guys will say like something similar to what I'm about to say, but just big like video game guy, kind of like watching shows. Like I'm really into like heist type of shows. I'm a big money heist guy. Just things like that, like true crime type of things. I got a dog named Mello. He's a Labrador pit mix. Uh, Sadly, he's not here with me right now. He's with my parents, but like to hang out with them a lot. Besides that, I'm just pretty chill guy. I'm not really out in the mix too much.
Okay. Just for fun, let me throw a couple quick questions at you. So, maybe first thing that comes to your mind, not anything too serious, right? So,
Yeah.
uh, favorite movie?
Ooh. I like Now You See Me. Kind of like a Magic Heist movie.
Okay. Let me go completely out of left field. Favorite breakfast cereal?
Favorite breakfast cereal? Man, I have to either say Lucky Charms or like Raisin Bran Crunch. Like two
Okay.
very different cereals, but yeah.
Absolutely. It's like one is for a little kid and the other's for like a 60-year-old man. I get it. And so let's see now. Uh, let's see. Obviously, man, you're a Detroit kid. Detroit sometimes gets a bad rap, but
Mhm.
tell me something about your hometown that you really enjoy.
Really, it's kind of like the people and like the togetherness. I think that a lot of the time you kind of see the stuff on TV, like the crime, whatever. But I think that, especially in Detroit athletics, I think there's a lot of like brotherhood and family just throughout the programs that are being created through the city with like the Sound Mind, Sound Body program and like Rising Stars. Really, a lot of things that are obviously there are issues within the city, of course, but I think that there are people who are fighting against that, and that's something I've always grown to appreciate.
Gotcha. Is there maybe perhaps a celebrity that you would love a chance to meet, whether it be music artist, an actor, or even an athlete?
Uh, can I name more than one?
It's fine. Just give it.
Yeah, I love to meet like Chris Jones or even get the opportunity to play with him, Chris Jones from Chiefs, and then just music wise, like a J Cole would be really cool.
Nice, nice. Well, hey, James, as we begin to wrap things up, I mean, obviously we're speaking to each other from the framework of you trying to get to the league, trying to get noticed, get some scouts to, meet you and know a little bit more about your story. So, close us out. Talk to those guys directly, man. Tell them why you need to be drafted, signed, a part of their program, and what you would provide them if they took a chance on you. So go ahead and close us with that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you take me, you're taking a guy with high IQ for the game, someone who has the physical tools, and someone who's willing to give his all at the end of the day for a program. Obviously, very loyal guy. Stayed out at NIU for 5 years. Fell in love with the program, and I'm sure that anybody that takes a chance on me is going to get that same type of player. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, I mean, definitely a lot to like about you. I mean, overall size, versatility. I was looking at some of the numbers here. I mean, I know that you're, big in the weight room. I have like a 420 pound bench, which is pretty darn good. So, Again, man, I can't say enough about things like character and leadership. The ability to bring something like that to the table is certainly worthwhile. But James, man, wish you very best of luck. You got one more game left to go, and then you gotta look forward to everything after that, man, which is going to be, your pursuit of the NFL. So, do wish you all the best and very best of luck. All right.
Having issues right when it's time to wrap it up.
All right. Once again, James Esther, defensive lineman out of Northern Illinois. Check this guy
Yeah, you
out.
may have to pause me again. I don't know.